Y'all think I was done? Well, nah. We're back. Welcome to the brand new season of Real Talk Podcast. I am excited to bring you on this journey with me as we have some intense and inspirational discussion with people from all over the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, comment, leave your feedback. We want to know how you feel about the show. Alright? Welcome to the new season of Real Talk. As you know, today we have the man Dario Barthley in the building, and I'm really excited to have you here, my brother. Trust me, like, it's been supposed to happen.
Yeah,
and due to the whole quarantine and this, everything that we're going through right now, we had to push it back, and you had to travel and all of that. So nothing happened before time.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Nothing happened before his time. I'm happy that I can be here now.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be on the show. It's something that we talked about for a while.
Definitely.
So thanks for having me, man.
I'm more than happy to have you. And while we get into the show, I just don't want to get into all of the sweet things. I want to talk to you a little bit about, you just being a black Antiguan. Where in Antigua were you born, and just talking about your education background and stuff like that.
Well, my story really started. My parents had me before they were married, so I used to split a lot of time between Golden Grove and All Saints. So those are the two communities that I really grew up in. I'd say more so All Saints than Golden Grove. Because in Golden Grove I was, more at my grandmother's yard playing. I have a lot of cousins, so usually playing with my cousins, enjoying time out in the yard, that type of thing. Whereas in All Saints, I like to go on the road.
Yeah.
All Saints is more of a
road.
Yeah. All Saints is more that type of place too. All Saints is more conducive to that type of thing. So that's where I started. Basically, a love of sports. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I think will definitely come out during this talk. Is the deep-rooted love that I have for sports. Went to Baptist Academy for a while. Went to primary school at Foundation Mix Primary, right there by Country Park.
Yeah.
So in town. And then graduated, went to the Antigua Grammar School, the greatest institution known to man. The Antigua Grammar School. And that's where I really became Dario. Grammar School turned you into a man one way or another.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed my grammar school experience. I always tell people that it's surprising to them that I would never rather went to any other school. And when you're in primary school, they say, well, I'm going to go grammar school. But at the end of the day, that's my pivot, and has helped me become the person that I am today.
Yeah.
Post grammar school, went to Antigua State College for 2 years, A-levels, and I could lie because, the cameras on, I didn't know work taught. I didn't absolutely no work at State College, none.
So you lied.
I lied for 2 years after grammar school. That's what I tell you how funny it is, right? I didn't graduate from the Antigua State College.
Wow.
And because my grades weren't good enough. Because I passed all my CAPE and I passed my subjects in the term. But I didn't attend enough classes to graduate. So that's an interesting story. If you ever want to, I went to university like normal and everything, but if you want an interesting story of throughout my schooling, never walk in a cap and gown for Antigua State College because I didn't go to enough.
But that's kind of interesting because I want to know, like, you didn't attend most classes, but how did you get the work done?
That's the type of person I am. I tell people, people say they have a photographic memory. I tell people I have a videographic memory. Anything that I see, it just sticks here, and that's how I've always been. So even throughout State College and even throughout university, to be honest, I'm not a person that studies. I will, if I'm in the class, great. Right? Because once the teacher says something about it, puts it on the board, and I have a visual to put with, to regurgitate, I will be fine. If not, and I just need to read the book once or twice, I don't really study like that. Wow. So State College, I did absolutely no work. I wouldn't even want to say what my finishing GPA was at the Antigua State College. But went on from there
Yeah.
to the Midwestern State University. Now,
That's in Texas?
that's in Texas. A lot of Antiguans get the Prime Minister's Scholarship and they're good, yeah. Midwestern State, that was an interesting time in my life because I didn't necessarily want to go to university. I looked at it as taking 4 years out of the time I have to hustle and make some money.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, I didn't really want to go to university. But, you know, after speaking to a few people that I really trust, I'm not a person that does things just because someone says it. I don't think that anyone's path is necessarily my path. But some people that I really trust said, you know, give it a try, see what's going on.
Yeah.
And just being in that environment around academics and around the professors and around the rest of the faculty, it gave me a whole new grasp on life. I feel like if I had never left Antigua for that period, I would have never been able to gather some of those experiences that are so crucial in making me the person I am today. So Midwestern State for 1 year, because if I was going to go to university, the one thing that I was sure of is that I want to play football. So when I came upon Midwestern State, I didn't have time to really look around, see if I could get into the football team, that type of thing. So I kind of settled for going there for 1 year to sort myself out.
Okay.
So while I was there, I sent my CV, my footballing accomplishments to different schools and so forth. Ended up being contacted by a school in Ohio, Ashland University. They were a Division II school. And they said, you know, they want me to come over there and try out for the football team to see if they could give me a scholarship from the next season. So I went over there, and to this day, it's just 2 days ago I was telling one of my brethren actually, that's one of the best football games I played in my life. It was a trial, and I didn't want to stay at Midwestern. I didn't want to be in university without playing my sport. So I just knew that I had to get into that team. So that day is probably one of the best days of football that I've had. Leaving there the next day, it was basically a no-brainer that they were gonna invite me back on scholarship. So went, finished up the year at Midwestern, transferred to Ashland in the summer. Played a season of football in Ashland. A real good season of football, a great group of guys, like international players, New Zealand, England, Chinese, a nice blend of cultures. So again, just a real good cultural experience, just helping me to get a better footing in life, a better understanding of people from different parts of the world, and just learning to coexist with people. So I think that was a real crucial season of football for me. But something very strange happened in the summer.
For the 1 week.
Yeah. This is a really big one, because this probably changed the course of my life in terms of what I really want to do. I was doing sport management at Ashland, but to tell you the truth, the focus was on football. We trained 6 a.m., go to classes throughout the day, train in the afternoon. You really didn't get much time to focus on your academics. I wasn't failing classes, I was passing them, but I wasn't paying as much attention to the actual coursework as I should have. Right? So Ashland University, God bless their soul, they decided in the summer, this would have been the summer of, went to Midwestern 2011-12, so 2012-13 I went to Ashland, so the summer of 2013. Now, as I said, there were a lot of international students on that team, and they had a few issues with that. Mainly the drinking age is 21, and other places in the world the drinking age is not really 21. So you have guys coming over from England, guys from Australia, New Zealand who are accustomed to drinking in whatever setting they're in. One little man from Antigua too that you were
the only Antiguan.
I was the only Antiguan. I was the only black person. Oh boy! On that entire football team. Maybe in post production I can share a picture or something that you can pop up. But I was the only black person.
How was that, boy? You being the only black person on that team. How did that make you feel?
At times, it made me feel like a little bit isolated. You know, like if I didn't have anybody that truly understood, you know, certain things about me. But although that might have been true, because I still think that that is true. There are a lot of people there that, you know, they don't understand what I had to experience as a black person, especially from the Caribbean, being in the US and going to university on a scholarship. But I made some friends there, some genuine friends, and I mean, majority of them, well, all of them really were white people. But it was never an uncomfortable thing. Because I'm very open in discussion, especially if I consider your friends. So there are even some people that, you know, I may meet their parents and their parents may think that it's like, where that you hanging out with the black guy, right? The only black guy. And I'll tell it to them. I say, you know, your family may have pre-existing racial ideas that they can't really get rid of, but it's not your fault. You know, I'm still your friend. That type of thing I like to tell them. I'm still your friend. You may have a slight prejudice.
How old were you?
At that time.
Because let me tell you something. It takes a man to look at that situation in the way you did. Because I find like a lot of black people, we're not black people. I'm not saying that you don't have black racist people, but most of the time we're very much open to accepting the other people. They have a problem with accepting us. So for you to make a statement like that to a white person, trust me.
Yeah, I remember particularly I had this one friend, and he said to me, you know, he don't like black girls, right? So I said to him, well, you know, that stems from racial prejudice. You know what I mean? Your family don't like black people, you probably couldn't take a black girl home for dinner. So automatically, since you're a child, your mind is being programmed to not like black girls because the way it's going to go. You understand? So these are the type of things that I used to try to tell them. And I was 7 years ago, so I was 19. Right? But those are probably my most radical years, especially in terms of racial tension and that type of thing. Because living in the States, I saw certain things basically every day that they're just not right. It's just not right. You know, that shouldn't happen. And I think that generally as human beings we could agree with that, but due to privilege and the people benefiting from it, there's no urge to stop it. Right? So so those are probably my more radical years where I would be more willing to say something like that to someone. Not saying that I wouldn't know, but a little bit more diplomacy, a little bit more professionalism. So I maybe wouldn't bring it across the exact same way and, you know, soften it up for them. But outside of that, Ashland was a real good time for me. It was an all-white town. The cleanest, most pristine place that you can think of. Quiet. Most people either retired there. The young people go somewhere else for university. We had a really good women's basketball team. I remember 1 year they went undefeated to the finals and lost. And then they went with one loss. They went to the finals the next year and won. So that was the year that I was there.
And that's where you started to study sports management.
That's where I started to study sport management at Ashland. Midwestern didn't have a sport management program, which was another reason why I just really needed to get.
So you knew all along that you wanted to study sports management?
If I'm being 100% honest with you,
I want honesty.
I knew that I wanted to study sport management because I knew that I didn't want to study anything else. Right? It wasn't I didn't say, okay, sport management, that is my thing. I said, boy, not the lawyer, not the doctor, you know, not the traditional sense. I want to do what I love.
And you love sports.
And I love sports.
And that is something that I find like a lot of people need to understand. Like, you know, when your kids love something, support them in it. Every parent, like every Caribbean parent, wants to see their child in a bank or with a jacket and a tie. That's okay. But there's certain people who just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
You know,
I
we
agree
love
with
sports. I am a sportsman, so I can relate to what you're saying when it comes to you loving and having a passion for sport and wanting to play football. For me, it's basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know what you're talking about. When I was in school, bro, I was no big academics kind of guy, but I was a big basketball player, and that fueled and pushed me through school.
Yeah.
You know, because of sports, and I've met friends and people that I'm still cool with today through the game of basketball.
Of course, I'm sure my parents will tell you that a few times when I'm doing my work in grammar school, and they just have to say to me, Dario, if you don't pass this, you can't play this game next week.
And you pass, right?
I better pass. I can't fail because I played the game.
What you love, you know?
I don't pass it because I still care about passing. But I better pass. Because the game must play.
Yeah.
You understand? So I didn't even get to the juicy part of the Ashland story yet. Because the summer of 2013, Ashland decided, as I said, they had some issues, you know, with us. As a team, as a unit, and the coach, I guess. Ashland decided that while we were home for summer break, all our stuff up there and everything, they cancelled the men's football program. So after a year in the school, we finished maybe third in our division. It's not a bad team. You know, it's a good team actually. A lot of international students from all over the world. They decided they cancelled the men's football program.
Cancel?
Yeah, I read an article that said they cancelled it. So now we start scrambling, looking for schools. Now luckily that was a D2 program, and you know how the system works. Is in NCAA. So you know we go home right with NCAA is Division 1, 2 and 3. So we were in Division 2. So automatically once the school cancelled the program, a lot of other Division 2 and Division 3 and even some Division 1 for our better players start to reach out to us. So I chose this school, Barthley University, in Cleveland, Ohio, just on the outskirts of Cleveland. Yeah, but it's about a mile from the Cleveland Browns training facility. And maybe about 30 minutes from downtown Cleveland. And remember, this is the heart of LeBron. Right? So,
James.
Yeah, so I could move to a better place in terms of industry of sport. You check what I'm saying? So now I went to a D3 school, right? That was Ball and Wallace. So automatically the sport not as serious. So I started thinking, oh boy, that what you really do when you finish this thing, right? Now bearing in mind I'd already worked with the Antigua Hawks bill.
Can't wait to touch on that.
I think no, I hadn't actually. I had done some assistance. I'd given them assistance at the stadium in 2013. That same summer, when the CPL was being played here, right? So I had a slight interest. I think I did it as an internship actually, and the lady's name was Robertine Samuel. I want to say her name is, but I'll confirm for you. That was doing operations for them, and she kind of just pulled me in, and I gave some assistance. So I was thinking, what are you really going to do when you finish with this thing? You know, what you do after university, because you got a D3 university now.
D3.
That means
from D2 got a D3.
So you're not gonna be a pro. You know, you're not gonna hit it big one time. You know, if you become a pro, you can be in some lower leagues to build up yourself because you have to be playing D1 at least D2 to
forget up league.
one time, right? So back into a sport management program now. And that's where I started taking my academics significantly more serious. Right? And it don't mean that I study now, because I still never study. but it means that I just start to think about, you know, Dario, why you're doing this class, right? What you gotta achieve, what you gotta learn in this class, right? And that really changed my life. I did an internship at the Super Bowl. I was VIP, assisting the VIP box in terms of logistics. So like I get to escort people like Rihanna, Key and Peele. I see Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. You know, so that was a little experience to see that, you know, through the avenue of sport, you can meet these people because as much as people say, okay, you know, work, people need incentives.
Yep.
People need a little bit of push,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you know, boy, I go work a Super Bowl and I see Kanye West live in front of me, as silly as it may sound, that may be a motivation for somebody to keep going.
And it is a motivation because
Yeah.
how many persons from Antigua could say that they've seen Rihanna,
Right?
Kanye
Or they
West
see Kanye West standing in front of
in
them.
front of them, you know?
Right? So that may not be your motivating factor. You may just be thinking, okay, money. I need to get a job that pay plenty money.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the different avenues for people within sport, you have to exploit whatever positives you have there to put it to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you don't know what may spark the next great whatever that avenue is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when we think about sport in the Caribbean and in Antigua, we always thinking about playing the sport. Right? Because we don't get taught what it takes to be a match referee, an umpire, a groundsman,
a stats keeper.
a bookkeeper, whatever it is. We don't get taught this stuff.
There's so
Right?
much about sports that we're gonna get into it.
And that is exactly what Ball and Wallace did for me.
Yeah.
So the sports program at Ball and Wallace, where I was for 2.5 years, basically you have to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I used to commentate on volleyball,
Nice.
right? Like for the live stream. I used to commentate on football. I actually become like the notable football commentator. Because as I said, because I had transferred, I spent 4.5 years. So I spent a half a year where I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So I was the commentator for the football matches.
Nice.
Right? I get to keep stats for volleyball. I understand a lot of sports just because of that period that I spent at Ball and Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what it gave me. It gave me the outlook that, okay, you don't have to play football to be involved in football. One of the first things I did is I created the paperwork to become a registered FIFA intermediary in Antigua. And I gave it to them and I registered myself first up.
Yeah.
Right? So that I can start managing athletes, because we'll talk more about it, but that's my end all be all, is being able to give back to my community in a way that when somebody is young and talented, their talent is harvested correctly.
So, you know, the thing is, you've been through a lot so far because you've been on a journey. You left from State College and then you went to Midwestern, you know, and you've been to different schools.
Ashland and then BW.
And then BW, right?
So that's three universities.
3 different universities. And you said something that again, a lot of people don't have it in them to accept that, look, this is not going to work. You said to me that from the time you went to D3, you realized that, yo, I'm not going pro. And you decided that now is the time for me to focus on sports management. And I must say, from the things that I've been seeing, from the things that I've been hearing, whenever I check the media and your social media and the things that you've been doing, I'm very much proud. And I'm very much happy for you as a young black Caribbean man, right?
Appreciate that.
You know, I'm very proud, and I'm very serious, not because the camera is here. I'm very proud, right? And I feel like you're doing a lot of good things, and I really want to touch on, you know, this cricket situation, right? Because you have been doing the Cool and Smooth T20, right? You've worked with the Antigua Hawks bill, right? Like, I want to know, after you've studied sports management, you're back home in Antigua, where did you get that motivation? Because now you're leaving from the States to come back to a third world country where, as you know how we are in Antigua, bro, we have talent here, but there's certain loopholes, there's so many things going on around here that the youth, they're just not getting the kind of attention that they need to get.
Yeah.
What gave you the motivation and the inspiration to come back here and decide that, you know what, I am going to make an impact in the field of sports in my country? What gave you that inspiration?
Honestly, that's something that was developed also at BW.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you the exact part of how I got to that understanding of what I want to do for myself. I used to have a professor. I know some people will watch this and say, boy, Dario always talking about this professor. Right? But his name is Param Shukantia. Right? He's from India.
Yeah.
Right? But he was one of my professors at Baldwin Wallace. And he gave me a story one time. And it's a silly kind of story, but this is one of the pillars of my life, right? It's I'll just give you the basics of the story. I'll just give you,
Yeah.
It's basically, it's a fisherman on the island story, right? And the story starts with a fisherman who every day, what he does is he goes to fish on his own boat, in his little backyard pond or whatever. He goes to fish, he catches fish, and he eat them. He provides for his family, right?
Yeah.
That's all he do. Now, somebody come to him and say, well, fisherman, you doing this every day already. You might as well take the extra fish, right? Because you just have some spoils. So take the extra fish and sell it, right? And make some money so that other things that you want, you can go and acquire. So he starts selling the little extra fish, right? And they say, boy, if you catch more fish, you can sell more and get more money. Okay, you do a little extra 2 hours every day. You catching more fish, selling more fish, you making more money. A man come in and see his little operation, him selling fish at the market. The man say, boss, here what you need to do, start a company, right? So get people to catch the fish for you, right? We can package it and we can ship it out to different places, right? He say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We make some more money, progression. And he started to ship out the fish. The company get big now, right? The company get big. The company outgrow him. He decided, boy, he can sell this company.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're offering him all kind of separation packages, for his shares and so forth. Yeah, so now the other partners within the business say to the fisherman, what do you really want? Right? What do you really want? What can we do for you? What would make you happy? And the fisherman think to himself, and the fisherman say, boy, I just like to be able to retire to a small island where I can go and fish every day. You understand?
No.
So basically, the fisherman wastes his entire life, right, trying to chase some type of goal that society create for him. He didn't really want to create any company and sell any fish and distribute. He didn't want to do any of that. He just wanted to sit down on his boat and fish.
Yeah.
Right? So now, the years that the man spent building his brand, building his company, is years that he take out of doing what he actually wanted
to do. Yeah.
You understand? So don't let anybody dictate for you what you should be doing. You should be doing whatever you feel like you should be doing.
Yeah.
You understand? You have positive influence in your life, of course, that can drive you forward to better goals. Right? But you create your goals, and only you can create your goals. So that is where I really said to myself, boy, Dario, why are you doing this? Why are you even at university? Right? And if I can't take the things that I've experienced back to where I'm from and make Antigua better so that the next person that's in my position that go university have a better platform from which to launch themselves off of and create a better sporting industry and entertainment industry, whatever it is within Antigua, then I fail. That is my aim as a human being, to improve the situation in the areas that I can.
Yeah.
I care about everything in tiers.
Yeah.
I care about my brothers first, my parents second, my extended family third, my village fourth, Antigua fifth, the Caribbean sixth. That's how I think. So I think, how can you make things better within these particular communities which you are a member of? Right? And if I can't do that, then I don't want to do it at all. Right? That's everything for me is geared towards giving back, not only to Antigua but to my family, to my community, to the people that would have entrusted me. I got scholarships too. I got scholarships from the government too.
So big up to the government.
Yeah, so big up the government, and I have to come back here and use it for good.
So since you've been back, right? How has it been so far? Because now, like I said, you're doing the T20. I know about the T20, right? And you've done work with the Hawks Bill, right? That's supposed to be our national cricket team.
Yeah,
so
T20
team. But I haven't heard anything about that team. And I personally would like to know cricket is a Caribbean sport. Cricket is the way out for most Caribbean men and women to go pro in any sport.
Yeah.
Why am I not hearing about the Hawks bill?
Well, to answer the first question on how it's been since I've been back, it's been tough. I find encouragement every day. I had to give a huge shout out to Amir Horani, Cool and Smooth, for giving me the opportunity to work in the Cool and Smooth T20 tournament.
Yep.
In 2014, I was the manager of the Antigua Hawksbill.
Yeah.
Now, at the point in time that I became the manager of the Antigua Hawksbill, I didn't really know what that meant.
Okay.
Right? I just knew that I was going on the road with the team, and there's a position in sport. I was doing it as another internship also at Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, Dario, you're managing the Hawksbill. There, I was really helped out in my efforts by some of the notable players on the team that had been elsewhere and experienced professional cricket atmospheres,
Yeah.
So they were able to say to me, boy, Dario, this is how you do this is how you do that. I want somebody like Carlos Brathwaite, David Hussey from Australia, Marlon Samuels. These are guys that I really took a liking to because they were willing to give constructive criticism, and that's the type of person I am. I'm always willing to hold up my hand and say my fault.
Yeah.
Criticize me if you have to, because it'll only make me better if I have to do it again. It'll only move me forward.
Yep.
And I'm the type of person that can also pull the positivity out of a negative criticism. Somebody might say, well, Dario, you're no good, something. This is what you do, why you're no good. But I still listening to them because I want to know why you think I'm no good.
Yeah.
Right? So I can progress from it and I can become better in the future, and hopefully you'll think I'm good the next time. Right? So criticism is not something that I shy away from.
Neither do I.
At all. Right?
I
like
love
criticism.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
Because it makes us better.
Exactly.
I want to know what people actually think so that I can then better myself.
If
I don't know
you
how
can't
you
take
do
yes people around you.
No, I don't. I don't want
because
that. I hate
it's going to always be, okay, yes, great. And then when it doesn't do well, or you don't do well in the role, or whatever the case is, then you can't pick on reasons why.
Yeah.
Because nobody is giving you the real talk then.
And that's
why we here. The real talk.
Real talk.
Yeah. So the Hawksbill had given me an opportunity to delve into that as the manager. I really enjoyed that role. Coming back to Antigua, I'm sorry, to stay on the Hawksbills.
Yeah, I want to know.
2014 was actually the last season that the Hawksbill played in the CPL.
Yeah.
And then the franchise moved to St. Kitts and is now the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. So the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots, as you know it now, which is currently in the CPL, is the Hawksbill franchise, which has been revamped for St. Kitts. So the idea was that they're going to have 6 franchises for the 6 territories. So the Leewards and the Windward Islands are 2 of the territories, and the other 4 territories are what we call the big islands. Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana, not an island but a country. And we are part of the Caribbean.
Part of the Caribbean, yeah.
So basically, all that happened is the Leewards franchise has moved from Antigua to now be headquartered in St. Kitts. Right? Why that is so? I have heard, and this is real talk, so I have heard that the government owes them money. I think that can be spoken as a fact. That the government owes money from the first 2 years of operation, and that they were unwilling to pay. They maybe didn't think that the structure was beneficial to the Caribbean, and I think a lot of people maybe would have agreed with that at the time that it happened. It was just starting out. There's always growing pains. Commercially you will only get bigger. So for the Hawksbill to come back is something that a lot of people within Antigua have been calling for. And I think that it would be something viable, it would be something worth our time. But I don't think that is the end all be all of cricket development in Antigua. Right? Because at the end of the day, the Hawksbill is a professional franchise. And the way that I look at professional teams is, and you can tell me if you differ. And yes, if I'm from Antigua, I may have some type of impetus to say, let me help out the Antiguan youngster so that he can grow and he can become a good cricketer in the future. There's a developmental aspect, of course. I don't want to say not, right? But if you're operating a professional franchise, especially one with a yearly season that lasts 5 weeks or whatever the case is, I want to win.
You want to win, of course.
Right? So I think that the best players, the best T20 players in the Caribbean should be on those teams.
Definitely.
Point blank. It don't matter if all of them come from Guyana.
Hands down.
All of them should fill the teams.
I totally agree.
That's how I think about professional sports. I agree. Right? Now, obviously, you have to have development bumpers in there that assist you. So, one thing that we do for Cool and Smooth T20 is you must have an under 19 player on the field. On the field. Not just on the team, but on the field.
Okay.
At all points in time.
Okay.
Right? So, if one can't play, the other you have to have 2 in your squad at least. Right, so if one can't play a night, just know that the other one playing. Because you have to have under 19 player. That's just the key, because the Cool and Smooth T20 is getting big. Right, players are coming in from overseas to play in this tournament. We can't deprive our youngsters of having the opportunity of rubbing shoulders with these guys and being able to improve their game. So you have to put those things in, but at the same time, you want to win.
You want to win.
Right?
And you need people to come out and support, because at the end of the day, if you're running a professional sport, if we don't have fans coming out to buy the tickets to come out and play, how do you pay players? You know what I mean? So
you'll end up in a bad financial
situation.
Right?
But just to go back a little bit, and we're not going to dwell here too long, because now that you've explained to me, I must say, right, that I just feel like you said the government was losing old money. Right, and that's the reason why we lost the franchise, right? I personally, and I don't care who sees this or who take what I'm about to say the wrong way. I really don't care. The government need to pay more attention to sports. We do not have enough that is put into sports in this country.
Yeah, I think that's quite obvious. I'm a, you know the type of man I am, boy, right? I talk straight. But at the same time, I don't like to allude to things that I'm not sure about, right? So I don't know what the exact financial situation of the country is, right? But I think that what I think needs to happen is that there needs to be some deep planning happening within the sporting department.
For sure.
Because only they would know what their resources are. Right? So if we need to start by listing the things that we need to do, and then listing them in order of priority, and then listing them in order of cost, and then pointing out what we can do now, what we can do next week, what we can do next month, and what we can do next year, then that is what needs to happen.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be the Stephen A. Smith. I want to see more happening for sports. I don't care about how much money the government have. I want to see more happening for sports, because sports is the only way out. When you play sports and you pump money into sports, it keeps young people off the streets. You give people, you know how many talented young people you have out there who they just don't get the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't get the opportunity.
They just don't get the opportunity in conducive timing. So they end up and get a job. And the job, you know, they work late hours so they can't train, and then
so I want to see more for sports. Because I know what sports did for me. Playing basketball, Dario, it kept me off the streets. Basketball saved my life. My mother worked 3 jobs, bro. So when my mom was away, I could have went and joined the gangs and do drugs and do all of it. I was so busy playing basketball that I didn't have time to follow bad company.
Yeah, that's very important.
You know, so I know the importance of sports, and I want to see more happening for sports, especially a sport like cricket that I don't play the sport, but it is a Caribbean sport. It is something that we as Black Caribbean men and women, we have the opportunity to be professional players.
Yeah, people don't realize that you're playing for your local club this week. You play well, and there's a Leeward Islands tournament coming up. Antigua pick you, and you play for Antigua next month. And out of that Leeward Islands tournament, they pick a team. You're in that Leeward Islands team, and you're now a professional cricketer.
Yeah.
And earning more money per month than, according to all of the reports, a majority of people make in this country. Right? So it's an opportunity for the youngster from the street to go professional. We haven't had a player from Antigua that we can familiarize with play in the English Premier League. But we've had many play for the West Indies. People that you see every day walking around town have played for the West Indies and they're world superstars.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that is very important. Just to say to youngsters, this is an avenue. Sport is an avenue.
Yep.
And back to our original topic of building out the sporting network and ensuring that people are looking at other jobs within sport. Tell them, and guess what? You see that umpire that you see on TV every time, cricket playing? That could be you.
Yep.
That could be you too. Mm-hmm. Not just the player that you see running and celebrating a wicket or scoring 100, but that umpire
could be you.
That could be you.
The commentator.
The commentator that you hear speaking so eloquently, that could be you.
Yep, definitely.
You understand? So there's so many avenues for youngsters to make money within the sport. And I mean, Cool and Smooth T20 is one.
And I want to see the best for the T20. And I personally have not been following much about the T20, but I've heard about it. But I know going forward, I want to be more involved in the T20. I want to, and not just being involved as just as a listener. I want to come out and watch the games and be a part of it, right? You know, Dario, over the years you've worked hard and you've been on your journey, man, and now you're presently working with the men, the senior men team, right? And I would love for you to talk to us about that, because you know what, that is a big thing. You know, I am sitting on the table with a man that is working with West Indies cricket team, with the players that are representing us, right, whether good or bad. How was that experience?
Well, I want to say thanks to a lady by the name of Carole Beckford from Jamaica.
Yeah.
She actually brought me into the Cricket West Indies setup as a web writer. She knew that I had done sport management. She knew of work that I had done in the past, and she just saw it as an opportunity for me to get my foot in the door. So the 2017 on-19 tournament in St. Kitts, and you know, I just tried to grasp an opportunity with both hands. Got a contract in operations, worked in operations up until February of this year.
Yeah.
But during that, I had an opportunity to go with the senior women's team to the 2018 T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
And that was my first. That was my foot in the door in terms of media management. So what a media manager does is basically you're in charge of facilitating anything media-wise. So if there's photographers in the ground, you get the pictures, send them back to office to be used for promotional stuff, or to send to players for them to post.
That's a big job, bro.
Right? Any interview that needs to be coordinated, it comes through you. So they come and they ask you, will this player be available at this time? Can we do this with him? You know, you vet it, you know, what type of questions they're going to ask, that type of thing. And you take it to the player and present it to the player and make sure it happens. It's something that's even more so heightened in the COVID time, because we're playing in biosecure bubbles, so nobody can come in. So any interview has to be done basically on my phone. So some people, you know, so all day people calling for players, I have to be taking phone to players for them to do interviews, that type of thing.
Wow.
I take pictures in training, videos in training. The broader media team assists me in editing them and so forth to put them on our socials. We're assigned into the social media accounts to ensure that we're always covering. So it's a big role in terms of responsibility.
That's a big role.
Right? And I'm now doing that obviously with the senior men.
Okay.
So same role that I did in 2018 with the women, I'm now doing with the senior men.
How was it easier to work with the women than the men, or
different challenges on both sides. Both amazing teams. I've worked with the men's white ball and red ball teams, both amazing set of guys. The women's team, amazing set of young ladies. It wasn't difficult to work with either.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even really want to try to get into the nitty gritty to compare. But recently, we went to England.
Yes. I saw that.
Which was a very historic tour. So that's the first time that cricket, international cricket, was played
in a bubble.
First time in a bubble, first time since COVID became a pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was just interesting to take in a lot of the information that was being presented. You know, seeing how they set up, seeing what is different from the past, and being able to get that experience to again bring back home to Antigua.
Yep.
Right? So if we were to have any type of sporting situation where we have to do a bubble, I think that I would be well placed now to, you know, give advice on things that we should do to ensure that we're compliant. So that was a really big thing for me to get that experience.
Yeah.
But that tour on a whole, it was just a great tour, man. It was amazing being there. It was amazing being able to experience that, being a part of bringing back cricket, and then the Black Lives Matter thing. That was the most relevant thing at the time. So prior to the first match, we discussed, you know, what we're gonna do to show our support, and somebody within the camp kind of said, you know, we should kneel whenever is appropriate, before the first ball, when all the cameras are on or whatever. And England actually joined us in that, right? So
nice.
all of the matches for the series, the 3 test matches, on the first day, we kneeled right before the first ball was bowled, and that was a real powerful moment for me. What I would do is I have an Africa pendant that I carry with me, and I took it with me on the first day of that first match, and I hold it in my hand like this, right? And we also put up our fists like this. And honestly, Humroy, that was a great moment for me. I felt like I was a part of something. I know that it's all, at the end of the day, that's aesthetics, right? It's just a symbol of what we want to accomplish as people, right? So the fact that they joined in with us, you know, it gave the symbolism that much more power, that they joined in with us and we were there with our fists up, with them in support, and it just made me feel a part of something really big and really special. So I want to thank, I mean, even on this platform, nobody from the English Cricket Board may watch this, but I just
never know.
I want to say thanks to the ECB and thanks to our home board, Cricket West Indies, for providing an opportunity for us to be a part of that. Because I think that's a pivotal moment for a lot of players within the team. You know, that's something that they'll take with them.
You know, Dario, I'm listening to you talking, right? And and I am inspired. You know why? Let me tell you, because how you started right here, Antigua State College. You went overseas to study. You wanted to be a professional football player. That didn't work out, but you followed your dreams of doing sports management, and you're now doing what you worked on. You work like it has been a dream to be involved in the field of sports, and now you're living it. And I want every young person that is watching this show, whether you love cricket or not, whatever field of business, whatever field of passion you're into, I want them to pay attention to your journey and realize that it wasn't easy. Yes, you had the opportunity to go to school, different schools, and a lot of people won't have the opportunity to go to schools and all of that. But you know what? You failed because you failed along the journey because of, not because of you, but the school said they're no longer gonna be offering a program. And then you had to move on and go on a different journey. And now you're here sitting today working with our West Indies team. You know, and that is such an amazing thing, because I would love for you now to start, you know, you're learning so much from the West Indies team and being around all these players and different people from around the world, and now you're doing the T20. I can only imagine you bringing all the experience, everything that you learned from the outside right here.
So that's the idea, to try to grab a little bit of that professionalism from there and ensure that I can apply it to the little bit that I have control of.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So hopefully in years to come, the T20 will be able to go from strength to strength, and we'll be able to see more Antiguan players come through. Whether it's the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots or it returns to be in the Antigua Hawksville, we'll be able to see a lot of our players within that CPL structure and putting themselves out to the world as professional and good cricketers.
Definitely. And Dario, honestly, man, you know, I wish you the best on the T20. I wish you the best on your career. But you know, while we're here, you know, I just want to move on a little bit and talk about some of your personal interests. You know, some of the things that you're passionate about outside of the field of sport. And if you can touch on that a little bit for me, I would really appreciate that.
I think the first and the most pertinent thing is Chatterbox. Because me being involved in Chatterbox is something that it came about so organically and so beautifully that I like to talk about it.
Nice.
Raina Bird, as the owner of Chatterbox, she asked me to meet one day for lunch, just to discuss some ideas in terms of Chatterbox. And it was really simple at that time. It was more about things like moving chains. It was more about things like moving chains in the different islands and so forth, because she noticed that due to my job, I move about a bit. So she's really thinking, you know, maybe Dario can assist me with just bouncing around from island to island, checking in on the social media and say, hey, Chatterbox is in St. Lucia today, whatever the case may be. But then the conversation, and you know how my conversations go, it developed into so much more than that one, Roy. And I basically feel like Chatterbox Juvo was started right there at that table at Alligator's restaurant when myself and Raina had that meeting. Because we spoke about it so freely and so in depth without the constraints of a formal meeting, because that's not what we went there to talk about, right? That all of her ideas just kind of came to me so vivid, and I said to myself, wow, this is something that I want to be a part of, right? So we left there that day and we said, you know, we're gonna talk about it and whatever. And then coming up to Carnival, we decided to execute. And you know what Chatterbox Juve is. Obviously, it was our first year in Antigua 2019. But it pulled off so nicely. We had Jada Kingdom on the ground. People were so excited to have this fresh new band of this brand that they have seen online and so forth.
Definitely.
Available to them. And the real important part is the aim of Chatterbox and the goals of Chatterbox, which is strictly Caribbean unification, so that you from Jamaica, I from Antigua, and Sydney from Barbuda, and we can and all of us can live together with some kind of common, because as I said before, I think family, village, Antigua, Caribbean, right? So although yes, you may be a Jamaican and you may be proud to be a Jamaican, at the same time you have to be proud to be a Caribbean man. Right? And as Antiguan, I have to be proud to be a Caribbean man. Right? So we need to kind of instill this in the youngsters, because CARICOM, failing idea. So, you know, CARICOM, these things haven't necessarily worked out the way that they were planned to work out. So as a younger Caribbean society, we need to come together, especially in the social media age where everything is available to everybody. Right? So people in St. Vincent, people in St. Kitts, people in St. Lucia will watch this. Right?
Definitely.
So we need to kind of invoke that type of spirit within the people, even the people who are watching this. Right? That as young people, we're going to come together. We say Chatterbox, you might say Caribbean unification if you don't support the brand of Chatterbox, but this is the idea of Chatterbox. That all of us are going to come together, create together, live amongst each other, and create Caribbean we're gonna give the Caribbean a voice on the global market.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of coming as Antigua, Barbados, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Montserrat, Jamaica, we come in now as the Caribbean. Right? And we want a face in mainstream media. That's important to us. We want people to see Humroy in Grenada and say that's Humroy Right.
Yeah.
From H Right Promotions that do Suns Out, Buns Out.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And the same way still, you're supposed to see a Grenadian on Instagram and say, wait, that is whosoever that do whatsoever.
Yeah.
You understand? So creating one Caribbean voice and one Caribbean market, especially for the arts, that's our goal. Right? So having Juve is just so that because it's a regional brand, we know that we'll get people from different islands. So when it's a Chatterbox Juve in your country, that should be a chance to integrate. You will see Antiguans there because the two owners are Antiguan, right? But it's a Caribbean brand. So now that we've done St. Kitts, when you see Chatterbox in your country, if it's not Antigua or St. Kitts, you will see Antiguans, you will see Kittitians and Divisions, because they have now experienced the Chatterbox culture and we're moving it forward throughout the islands. Right? And I know that you showed the chain already, but I want people to know that we are selling Antigua chains, and there's a few different styles. I'll post something on my Instagram when it goes up.
Nice, but I actually do support Chatterbox. I have a few chains, and not just the chains. I actually, not many people know this because I'm a kind of man, as you know, I am H-Right Promotions, right? And in Antigua, there's so many people who own brands and in the field of entertainment, and everyone is trying to do their thing, right? But for me, I've been in the bubble even before Corona. I've been in the bubble. I just watch and I observe. I've been on one Chatterbox show before.
Oh yes, yes.
I've been on one before, and ever since I've always followed the brand, and I love what the brand is actually doing, and I must give you guys props for what y'all are doing, because the Juve, you moved to St. Kitts and you were supposed to go to Montserrat, and I can see something very beautiful. It is already out there, and then you have home Antigua, so I must give y'all props on that and everything that you guys are doing, and I see nothing but growth. I didn't know that you were a part of Chatterbox until you and I had a discussion a few months ago, about doing some future things together, right? And I admire the brand. Just letting you know, and to the general public know that I admire the brand. Right. One of the things that I love most about the brand is your graphics. The graphics is so different. I've never been a part of the Juve experience. I've never experienced that, but I see it, right? And it's something that I would definitely try out at some point.
Yeah, man. Right? Raina Bird. You're familiar with Raina?
Definitely.
She has another project by the name of Barthley. Currently in Heritage Keep. Very creative person. Creative genius, I would say. You know what I mean? Don't necessarily wanted to see this and I head get too big. But creative genius. Right? I would tell you, I maybe may not tell her, but creative genius. The way that she thinks and the way that she goes about creating is just so wonderful and just so pure to watch. Trust me, I love working with that young lady.
And I wish you guys nothing but the best on the journey. Because I personally, right, I believe there is a little piece out there for everybody to get. So you have Chatterbox, you have H-Right Promotions, you have other people who are doing their thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And something there for all of us.
Yeah, something out there for everybody could eat a little piece.
But you need to touch on something important that I wanted to make sure that we mention here. And it's about local brands. A lot of people, especially a lot of people that have plenty to say about what you're doing or what somebody else may be doing, they're doing nothing, right? So I want to use this as an opportunity then to commend anybody within Antigua that's doing anything, whatever it is, just to take that step to even make an Instagram post and say, I am doing this business, give me a link. That takes courage, boss. That takes courage. Yeah, trust me.
This country is 108 square miles. So you hear everything. It comes right back to you. Right? It comes right back to you. And for you to do things in Antigua, bro, you have to make sure you shoulder broad and you have to strong.
Yeah.
So again, let me add to that. Big ups to everybody out there whether you're a photographer, videographer, you're into events, you're makeup, you're a blogger, you're a farmer, whatever it is that you're doing, let me take this time out to big y'all up because it's not easy to do it here.
Trust me.
Right? No, you have expanded on your brand because now sports management. Sports is so wide. No, I'm sure you're gonna do youth tournaments, you're gonna do sporting events, you're gonna do so many different things.
Yeah.
I started out as a promoter. No, I have Real Talk, Big Brother program. I have my events, and no, I'm into music. People have so much to say about what you're doing, but the field of entertainment is so wide.
Wait. Let's take a pause for a call.
It's right so wide.
Because I have something to say. I have something to say. I want to say right now. Yeah, about the music. What the first song name?
Bubble,
right? Yeah. Yeah. This is real talk. Real talk, right? Bubble.
Yeah.
It grew on me a little bit. It wasn't my favorite song,
yeah.
I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Right? But, again, as I tell you, plenty of people are doing anything.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the fact that you go there and you make a track. Right?
Yeah.
Because you say something you always want to do.
Always want to
Wait, no man, let me done, Jack. Bubble wasn't my favorite track, right?
Yeah.
But you can get a pass.
All
When
right.
I hear it on the radio now, I can say, okay, you know, he's safe. Yo, man, see that second, Jude? Oh, he didn't turn the wine. Hey, no, plenty of the soca artists and them don't have quality music like that, boss. Trust me, I watch a snippet they put out when you're in the beach and you hear like a speaker with you.
Yeah,
And you know, you might just be like a fun or whatever. No, serious, Jack, but the tune bad.
Yeah, man.
The tune bad.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to release that soon, you know.
See, so you done record it?
Done record. I want to release it with a video.
I want exclusive. I just want to listen.
But you
want
can listen. You know what? Make you listen today.
Alright then.
Today.
Yeah, that tune's serious.
Yeah, man.
That tune's serious, and a lot of people might have seen Bubble. I don't know how people feel about Bubble.
Yeah.
Again, I'm telling you my feelings.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know how people feel about Bubble, but if you see Bubble, if you heard Bubble, and you were turned off, and you say, boy, Homeboy is not hard, soca artist.
Yeah.
Try something else, Homeboy.
Mm-hmm.
Give Turn the Wine a listen.
Give Turn the Wine a listen.
Yeah, give it a listen.
And for me personally, you know, this whole journey is like, so nobody can call me a soca artist, because I'm not no soca artist. I am just in the field of entertainment, and I am living my dreams. Mm-hmm. I'm doing music. So you're going to get soca, and right now you're going to get dancehall. You will never get rapping, because I'm no rapper. You will never get no singy,
yeah.
But you will get some soca, and you will get some dancehall.
Different flavors. Yeah,
you know, I love music, and I'm very happy. I can tell you straight up, my brother, I am happy. Not pretending, none of that. I'm in a really good space, and it doesn't matter what people have to say. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to still do it.
Yeah, that's important. That's
I'm
important.
going to still do it.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, Dario, for me, I admire people like you, and I really am happy to be sitting around the table with the next black man, you know, or black alike. You know what I mean? And you do things. And you do big things, not little things.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
I want to see you continue on your path, continue to grow. And I want us to touch on the other brands that you're involved with before we wrap up the show.
Yeah, you know? So Nakaza is a very, very important brand to me. Mm-hmm. Just because myself and Khalil, who is the owner, if you guys don't know, I've never seen it on video.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people ask me because I post a lot of Nakaza stuff. I wear Nakaza almost every day, at least some piece. If it's not a shirt, it's a hat, or it might even be shorts. And people ask me, what is Nakaza? Mm-hmm. Nakaza is Na, Ka, and Za.
Okay.
Right? So Khalil, the Ka is Khalil,
mm-hmm.
the Za is Zazel, that is his younger sister.
Okay.
He has an older sister, and I can't remember her name currently, but Nakita, something like that. N-A, so it's Nakaza.
Oh, no.
So I think that, that's an important story to go out. I always tell Khalil that. Maybe he might be upset at me for putting it out here. But I'm giving you the excuse.
Why would he be upset?
Right? Well, it needs to go out. Right?
Dope. I like that.
So that it's a family brand. It's him and his two siblings. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of the stuff that you see from Nakaza make earrings and necklaces. It's handmade.
Yeah.
this is stuff that he sit down and make on his own. Right? So I link up with Khalid a few times and we had a few reasoning. Two of us are grammar school, man. We never really know each other in grammar school, but you know, it's like a little fraternity still.
Yeah.
Right? So talk to Khalil and just the whole idea behind Nekaza and what he planned to do and what he is interested in. I just say, boy, that's right up my avenue. I support in you. I support in you. So Nekaza is something that I support 110%.
Yeah.
And obviously myself and Kali will know the details of what I mean, but everybody, when you see me, you see Nakaza head to toe like Johnny Guap. Johnny Guap said Nakaza head to toe. To toe like Johnny Guap all the time. Nakaza, right?
Yeah,
because
man.
that is a brand I support. Another brand that's close to me is Chef Mint.
Very talented guy.
Yeah, the man can cook.
Very talented guy.
I probably go and then get some food.
No, very, very talented guy.
Right?
I actually want to invite him to come on the show.
So myself and Mint, we talk regular.
Yeah.
Right? Just about different things and different ideas. And I like the way Mint deal with me. Mint like to, you know, give me a heads up on things that he thinking about and so forth. Hear my opinion. He may take it into account. He may use it. He may not use it. But it's a confident youth man that has a lot of ability and want to push himself forward professionally. Right? So I will always support Chef Mint. Obviously Chatterbox. Chatterbox has a ton of different ventures and Raina in general. So Barthley and other things that she will be doing in the future, I will always support.
Nice.
There are a lot of other local brands that I give my support and they will watch this and they will know who they are.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be afraid to leave a comment and say, you know, Dario, you forget my brand. But I just want to touch on some ones that really close to my heart.
Yeah.
Music is something that I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
And I think that majority of people know that. Taddy, Joe Pilot, a lot of people might know him as, but that's my
Joe!
Yeah, that's my literal brother.
God,
I know you will
Joe.
still have the Joe.
Where me?
Yeah, so that's my
Joe have a track by the name of Celebrate, right?
Mhm.
I love Celebrate a lot. I work out to Celebrate.
Yeah?
Trust me.
Yeah, I was listening to Celebrate just last
I
night. We have
work
something,
out
we have something
Celebrate.
new coming.
I love that.
And I make sure I give you some
And
exclusives.
I can
from
tell
that.
you this right now. I know you're managing Joe. I want to do a feature with Joe.
We gonna make it happen.
You may tell you?
Yeah, we gonna make it happen.
Right after I drop Thunder Wine, I go here see what's maybe with this music thing. And after that, Joe, get ready.
Alright then, that's so good.
Yeah.
So Joe Pilot and Swerve are two artists that real close to me. Swerve has a track called Think Tough with Elements. That's more a dancehall, so he's more of a rapper. But Swerve hard. Right? So I'll put you on to some Swerve too. But outside of that, I am now I think I can say officially the publicist for Echoed Potential. And that's a group that it includes Juba, it includes Gozi, Shugs, Naim,
An
the engineer
talented,
there.
very talented group.
Jay
That's a very,
Malachi is one of the producers, Brandon,
Very
engineer.
talented group.
Very talented group of guys, along with Island Trap, which is my set, which we've been around from since forever, rolling together since forever. Lord Shellington on Instagram, please follow him. Island Trap Records. But Echoed Potential, that's a venture that I'm very excited about because of the work that they've already put in, the foundation that they've built for the things that you guys will see upcoming.
Yep.
It's serious work that these youngsters put in. Everybody in that group is younger than me.
Man.
I'm normally the youngest person in all atmospheres. Right? I'm 26 years old. But I hang out with people a little older than me and so on. I'm normally the youngest.
Yeah.
Everybody in that Echoed Potential group is younger than me. And that's real special to me. Because the level of conversations that I'm able to have with them, I'm not sure that I was able to have those type of conversations at that age.
Yep.
Right? So it's not just a group for music, but it's a group for life. And I love them like my brothers.
Well, Dario, let me take this time out, man, to just go back a little bit on your journey. And I want people, whosoever, watch this episode to understand that it wasn't easy. And at the age of 26, You have done so much. From not doing no school, from not going to classes at State College, to now working with the West Indies male senior team, and to now managing artists and being involved in Chatterbox and Nakaza and all these exciting things. You'd never settled. And I want people to understand that life isn't easy. But once you put in the work and you stay consistent and believe in yourself, the rest is history. And you have to be confident. And bro, I am proud of you. I'm telling you, man to man, sitting across the table looking at you, I am proud and I am happy for you, and I want you to lead, continue to lead. Continue to shed your light on other people. Continue to inspire other people. Because at the end of the day, you want to leave a legacy. Because it doesn't matter how much watch and clothes and all that we have. We're going to, soon from now, at some point,
Dirt.
You want to leave a legacy behind.
Yeah.
So big up yourself, man, and thank you so much for taking the time out to being a part of this show. Remember, guys, leave your comments, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let us know how you feel about this conversation. All right, Dario?
Boy, I want to say thanks to you, but not only to you. I want to say thanks to everybody that will view this.
Yeah.
And one thing, we alluded to it earlier, but one thing I always promise myself also is that I need people to understand that my part is not the only part.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was fortunate to be able to go to university. My parents sacrificed a lot for that.
Yep.
Right? Some people may not be able to, right? And your parents may not be able to assist you in a journey like that.
Yep.
But it's still important, the other lessons, right? Take all of the surrounding lessons from this conversation, right? Because it doesn't take you going to university for you to acquire knowledge. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize,
Yep.
right? I do not credit sitting down in a university class and being taught with any of the knowledge that I gain. I gain most of my knowledge talking to people.
Yep.
Right? And that's whether in my village, in the broader community, in Antigua, on an airplane flight. I just do something that I call stealing energy. You see, when I sit down next to somebody on an airplane flight, I just want to talk to them until I find out what they're interested in. And then that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I want to hear everything that you know about turtles, if it's turtles you're interested in. Because the next time I have a conversation and somebody mention turtles, I can now say, oh, so somebody tell me a time this is the case. I now have a little bit more backing to have a conversation than I had before.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. The other lessons, right? Take all of the surrounding lessons from this conversation. Right? Because it doesn't take you going to university for you to acquire knowledge. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
Right? I do not credit sitting down in a university class and being taught with any of the knowledge that I gain. I gain most of my knowledge talking to people.
Yep.
Right? And that's whether in my village, in the broader community, in Antigua, on an airplane flight. I just do something that I call stealing energy. You see, when I sit down next to somebody on an airplane flight, I just want to talk to them until I find out what they're interested in. And then that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I want to hear everything that you know about turtles, if it's turtles you're interested in. Because the next time I have a conversation and somebody mention turtles, I can now say, oh, so somebody tell me a time this is the case. I now have a little bit more backing to have a conversation than I had before.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, right? If we sit down here and you want to talk basketball, I talk in basketball. Whatever I can contribute, I contribute in. Whatever else, I take in from you. Respect. For our next conversation.
Respect.
I think that's important. Listen to people, learn from people, make every experience count. Right? You don't have to go to university, you don't even have to go to state college, you don't even have to go to grammar school.
Because you talk about grammar school and player school is the best school in Nigeria.
Well, I expect you to say that versus the big
because you don't get it. A player school is the best school in Nigeria.
You don't let me get this way.
Pick up yourself, brother.
Yeah.
One love, see? Bless up,
Yeah,
man.
man. Right. Thank you. Real talk.
Man.